Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another study of the book Right Path by the Spirit, Emmanuel, through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And today we have another opportunity of learning with the good spirits. Today's chapter is 46. We've been together for 46 weeks, dear friends. And Emmanuel, the spirit author of this work, titled this chapter In the Trail of Tests. So he's going to be giving us an opportunity of re-evaluating, redressing the way you and I see and deal with tests and trials in our lives. And it's my honor and a blessing to be with you. Remember, you can always send us a message, you can comment, you can share so that other people can also wake up to these enlightened messages by the superior spirits, because we are in need of learning, and we learn here, and then we have the whole day or the whole night if you're watching this on demand to apply the teaching. So today Emmanuel starts this chapter by saying, quote, "In the paths of life, more particularly in those in which your forces are worn out by your trials, seek time through meditation to commune with the divine forces that base our existence. And you will recognize that we are all in God, just as much as each particle in the body are integrated, and each world in the universe's building that we all share." Unquote. So here he's saying, when we have times in our lives that we are undergoing the tests, the trials, the difficulties of life, he's saying, seek time through meditation. And what do you do when you meditate on something? When you take time to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, where we hop off the roller coaster of busyness in our lives. We can take some time not only physically to take advantage of your nervous system as a way to calm down, but he's saying seek time through meditation to do what? To commune with the divine forces that sustain our existences. Did you know that there are divine forces that sustain your life? The life of all of the beings on the earth, incarnate and discarnate, and the existence of everything that we as earthlings know to exist in the universe. Isn't that beautiful? That's called divine providence. Divine providence, according to Kardec, is God's care for all creatures. Divine providence provides all the resources that you and I need. And that's what he's saying here. When we can commune with those divine forces, and he capitalized divine and forces, because we know we are all made of the breath of the Creator, right? We are all modifications of the universal cosmic fluid. And that's the beauty of the spiritist science. Emmanuel here, we can dissect as a scientist, neuroscientist, health outcome scientist. Now I'm going to dissect it, to break it down, and I'm going to pluck different teachings of the Spiritist doctrine, and we're going to align with the teachings of Emmanuel. So each and every book, like this one here, is actually my oldie but goodie book, is another paper, another proposal, another explanation, another experiment, and then everything aligns because science builds in itself. And we always shall do when we read this as a side, when we are reading your messages at home, and they claim to be from Emmanuel. They are from Emmanuel in this case, or any other spirit for that matter. Seek to observe the language and the content of the message. That is also in the Spirit's book, the Medium's book by Kardec. He's talking about, the mediumship and the quality of the communications. So when someone claims to be someone like Emmanuel, and the message needs to align with who first? The divine laws. And then would someone like Emmanuel say those things, right? So it aligns perfectly not only with the beauty of doing the good, the understanding of the law of worship, this meditation to commune with the divine forces can be the way you and I take that meditation as a prayer. You can do walking meditation, eating mindfully, moving about the world mindfully. And he's going to give us a visual image of how you and I can commute with those divine forces. And he says, if you do that, you will recognize that we are in God, all in God, just as much as each particle in the body are integrated, and each world in the universe is building that we all share. So the cells of your physical body, and I'll go one level deep, the molecules in your physical body and paraspiritual body are integrated to form, and the atoms are integrated to form molecules. The molecules form different substances. The substances form the cells together form tissues together form organs, and organs form you and I in a simplistic manner. But there's an integration. If you look at your hand, your hand is the integration of the different cells and tissues of your body, and organs, because the skin is an organ as well. Then he talks about that integration of us with ourselves, because we are more than the physical. So your spirit developed by the spiritual body that connects to the physical body. The worlds integrated with one another, forming, building the universe. That's the same image you want to have when you think that we are all in God. That includes those who think differently from us. That includes those who hurt us. That includes those we hurt. And we can all visualize one another as children of God, and we can take time to commune with the divine forces, because rest assured, you have in your life difficulties. Very few people on the earth, and maybe just Jesus, up to this date, even his emissaries had troubles. At some point, troubles and tribulations will visit you, and that's when you take the time to meditate. So when things are good, we can build those muscles for when the difficulties come. You can rely on this communion with the divine forces. He says here, if you have enough serenity, that's Emmanuel now, quote, if you have enough serenity to analyze your situation over time, you will understand that in the ebbs and flows of our evolutionary struggles, according to the laws that govern us, we are always in the proper place for our needs of improvement and the spiritual readjustment that characterizes us, unquote. And he's going to list a bunch of different situations. I'm going to read a couple of them. But I want to break this next paragraph down, because I want us to think about that when we are on this planet, the inspiration to analyze this message is so that you understand, and those around us understand, and ultimately as a humanity we understand that there will be struggles. Okay, and he says here, if you have enough serenity to analyze your situation over time, you understand that in the ebbs and flows, right? The flows, sometimes we are very well, sometimes not. According to the laws that govern us, we would like you to encourage everyone to understand there are laws that govern your existence and mine. And we are reminded of those laws each and every day. God sent emissaries, God sent people so that we can practice those laws. Because the laws that we are talking about, not only the physical laws of the universe, the ones we know and the ones we don't, that's the subject of physics and the other material sciences. I'm talking about divine laws. There are divine laws that govern our lives. And in the Spirit's book, the Spirits tell Kardec, we forget. The laws are inscribed in our conscience, but we need those reminders, and that's what he's saying here. That means when I'm living my life, when you're living your life, and I'm using myself not as a selfish way, I want you to feel that I'm including myself. I'm not preaching something that I'm not trying to do. That's should be given to you, that all the hosts are reading this and learning as well. None of us is flawless, right? But there are laws, dear friends. We shouldn't go through our lives without discipline, without organization, without a plan, without meditating to commune with the divine forces so they can help you, for you to fulfill your mission that is unique. Go to chapter 2 and 5 of the book Right Path. And you're going to see there. God has willed us to be in the world, in the universe, with a specific mission. So we cannot waste this experience. We cannot waste this existence thinking that we willy-nilly can do whatever we want to do, because we are governed by laws, and the laws are created by God. And the laws in the Spirit's book are eternal, because God is eternal, right? They don't change. 2,000 years from now, when people are going to be looking at our technology the same way we look at the papyri and the scrolls of the New Testament, and be like, these people. But it will still be true when someone holds the Spirit's book, hopefully in a digital holographic form by then. There will still be the same laws. Because if you compare the laws in the third part of the Spirit's book with what Jesus taught, and all the spiritual literature that brings experiences with Jesus, such as the book Jesus in the Home, they still align. They're the same, different messages, different ways of delivering the message, but it's still lost. So we need to understand that it's not up to us alone. We're not only the law of society, it means you're not alone in both realms of life, that you cannot thrive alone, you don't do everything on your own. As a spiritist, the harder part of being a spiritist is not memorizing the book, or as we are studying here in Richmond, because I talk from the Spirit Society of Richmond, not memorizing Paul and Stephen, who we're studying. That's not the hard part, because you can use memory techniques and you can know things. The harder part is to apply the teachings in our daily lives, and that's why it's hard. It also includes reading and knowing, because in order to apply something, you need to know, but you have to practice, practice, practice. And it also includes volunteering at the Spirit Center. It also includes going to the Spirit Center when you have one in your house or around your neighborhood. Contributing to the works of Spiritism if you can financially. That community aspect of it also includes, but it also, if there isn't a Spiritist center, you can still be a Spiritist. You just have to apply the teachings to your daily lives. So here are some of the places that we find ourselves. I'm going to quote Emmanuel again. We are always, quote, we are always in the proper place of our needs of improvement and spiritual readjustment. Example, call to perform this or that task that most suits us to the moral advance, according to the program outlined by the advisors of the higher life. And he capitalizes the advisors of higher life. So we are in the right place, the proper place for our improvement. And I cannot do what is up to you, and you cannot do what's up to me. So I improve, you improve, but we working together improve, doing the task that most suits us to our moral advancement. According to who? The advisors of our higher life. Go to the book Evolution into Worlds. You're going to see those divine advisors, the divine intelligences that help the evolution of the physical world and spiritual world in the planet Earth. There is a study on Kardec read about the Evolution into Worlds book. What else? He says, with the gifts and challenges, difficulties and advantages that we need to accept and manage in the work to which we have been directed for our own benefit. So he's saying we are in the proper place for our needs of improvement and spiritual advancement or readjustment, excuse me. With the gifts and challenges, difficulties and advantages. So we have so much gift, so many blessings and advantages we don't even conceive of. As I speak right now, inside a physical location with air conditioning and all the resources of modern life, there are many billions of beings who don't have that. That's an advantage. Yes, I worked hard to have what I have, but I didn't get here alone, nor did you. Right? Life is harder when you don't have those things. So those are gifts. Those are advantages. Those are things that pertain to my spiritual advancement. Excuse me, improvement, spiritual readjustment. Now, does that mean I'm free of challenge and difficulties? No, nor are you. In the same way, we see people who pretend not to have any problems with the beautiful staged life they live. Everyone on this earth, without judging, I'm not judging anybody, I'm stating, nobody on this earth can live without gifts and challenges. Even the folks we admire in Spiritism, who have worked really hard to allow us to be in the state where we are, just the gift of being able to be here. And speaking of Spiritism without anybody coming to burn me at the stake is an advantage. Right? Because there was a different time on the earth that if I spoke with someone about spirits, I would be in trouble. You would be in trouble. Even the folks we admire, such as Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco, Raul Teixeira, Sueli Caldas Schubert, so on and so forth. Go look at their biography. It's not free. It's not free of challenges. They persevere, they persisted, and we can persist as well. He says here, the gifts and challenges, difficulties and advantages that we need to accept, they will be there and manage. Excuse me. And he says here, last but not least, he says, always calm yourself. I'm going to start over. Quote, always calm yourself and bless the trials that point you the road. Since it is the same trials that structure the exact step that you can and should transpose in the conquest of your own happiness before the greater life. Unquote. He says here, calm down, be serene, and bless the trials that point you the road. Now let's think this through today and be honest with yourself. And we're not guilting or shaming anybody. I'm not saying those things so we feel sad and depressed. But let's look for our lives. And let's think through the things we have experienced that we at the time felt they were difficult. They were unfair, they were too much, we overcome. They pointed you to the road and they made you who you are today. They structured the exact step that you can and should transpose in order to do what? To conquer your own happiness before the greater life, because the greater life is a spiritual life. So let's look for the tests and walking in these trails of tests that you and I go, all the 7 billion plus incarnate beings, plus all the discarnate friends that are around us each and every day. We are all undergoing some sort of trial, some sort of challenge, but we still have, let's focus on the gifts, the abilities, the things we've learned through the trials, because he says, be serene, always calm yourself, and bless the trials that point you on the road. This God, if we take the time to meditate and commune with divine forces that ultimately are the structure of our existence, are the basis of our existence, God will give us their tools and resources to overcome. If you go back to the law of worship, when you direct your thought to the Creator, or in the last two chapters of the Gospel according to Spiritism, you will find that God may or may not, because God can do whatever God wants to do, may not remove the trials that you and I have to go through. Yet, they will make the yoke lighter. They will make the challenges more bearable. We will attract to our company the spiritual friends that can inspire us and whisper in our ears, you can do this. We are here with you, because you are never alone. So let's take the time today. That's the invitation for today. Through the blessed mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier, we thank him wherever he is, so that through his trials, through his dedication and commitment, you and I can be here today, right? And we thank Emmanuel for bringing us these teachings so we can meditate and commune with the divine forces throughout our day. And we can encourage each and every one person on the earth coming our way, so they can be strong, they can be resilient, they can be patient, and they can be serene and bless the trials that adorn their lifetime on the earth. Dear friends, it's always a blessing, it's always an honor to be with you. It's always a blessing to be here and grow with you and learn with Emmanuel. And God willing, I truly hope that God will will us for us to be together next week in another chapter of the book Right Path. In the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, help someone you don't know. Bless all of those people who come your way with the blessed presence of your love in their lives. Take care, stay well, stay safe. I'll see you soon.